Hello everyone, welcome to the class. Today we're going to talk about printing and dyeing. Printing and dyeing here refer to traditional folk handicraft of printing patterns or dyeing various fabrics. In actual use, however, the term printing and dyeing may mean the folk technology of printing or the dyeing of fibrous fabrics in the broad sense, whereas in the narrow sense, it means a specific printing and dyeing approach, namely a method of printing colored patterns on cloth by applying wax on the part that is not to be colored with hard paper printing plate. In China, folk printing and dyeing have a long history with diversified approaches and techniques. Having both practical and aesthetic value, printing and dyeing vividly reflect the simple, unaffected, but profound cultural and artistic skills. Prevalent now as a folk handicraft, China's printing and dyeing handiwork falls into different schools in terms of local styles. For example, brocade produced from southwest Shandong, printed blue cotton produced from West Hunan, and printed fabrics made by Uyghur, etc. Dyeing originated from the ancient pressing printing handicraft, and it was named Yao Ban Bu in the Tang and Song dynasties. In the Ming and the Qing dynasties, it was called Jiao Hua Bu, generally referred to as printed blue cloth, or blue dyeing, or plant dyeing. In Japan, it was also known as blue dyeing or plant dyeing, while in Europe and America, it was named indigo print or Japan blue. The dye stuff used for dyeing blue printed cloth is from a plant called indigo, which can be processed into indigo solvent after it is gathered. Wax dyeing. Wax dyeing originated from ancient La Xie, the principle of which is to make use of the dye-resistant property of beeswax or insect wax by tracing a pattern drawn on white cloth in melted wax. And when the wax oil congeals, the cloth is soaked into the indigo vat for dyeing. When the cloth is properly dyed, the cloth is taken out for drying so that the dye will permeate into the fiber. Finally, the cloth is put into water and boiled until the wax is melted and removed from the cloth. Then, the wax-dyed cloth is ready. As the wax is easily broken, the cloth is left with irregular cracks of color in the process of dyeing, commonly called ice cracks, creating a unique decorative effect. Wax dyeing falls into two types: monocolor dyeing and double color dyeing. In some areas, 4 to 5 colors are dyed by means of process printing, with the colors natural and diversified. Tie dyeing. Tie dyeing originated from ancient Jiao Xie, and it mainly includes two techniques: thread tying and string binding. The former involved 4 steps: sew closely folding tight stitches according to the designed pattern, soak the cloth in the dye vat, dry the soaked cloth, and remove the sewing thread. White patterns will appear in the places where it was tied. This approach is applied to dyeing delicate patterns. The binding approach also involves 4 steps. Fold the cloth either willfully or regularly, and bind the folded cloth with the hamstring. Soak the cloth in a dye vat. Dry the dyed cloth and remove the binding string. The cloth dyed with this technique manifests different color intensities and various patterns corresponding to the strength in binding. Tie dyeing has many operational approaches, each of which produces its distinctive effect. Designs and patterns dyed on cloth with the traditional dyeing technique usually carry strong folk flavor. The flowers, plants, people, and legends printed on the cloth are symbolic of people's aspiration for a beautiful life. Folk dyeing handicraft, with its distinctive local feature and traditional cultural implication, is winning more and more urban people's favor. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.